Hey, welcome back to my channel. So Zillow got sued by FTC. Allegedly, Zillow paid $100 million to Redfin. So Redfin wouldn't compete against Zillow in the apartment listing business. And they filed it on Tuesday, saying that the deal, this $100 million deal, reduces competition in an already concentrated market and is likely to drive up the cost of the advertising vacancies in multifamily rental buildings. And it says paying off a competitor to stop competing against you is a violation of federal antitrust law, said Daniel Gurnola, who leads the FTC Bureau of Competition. So that's basically, that's like fourth lawsuit against Zillow, after Compass, and then CoStar, and then class action against Zillow's referral program called the Flex Referral Program with apparently hidden fees. So Zillow is, getting hit really hard at this point. Let's look at the antitrust law, what it means. It's basically known as competition law. So this federal law prohibits anti-competitive business practices or mergers, or try to monopolize certain industry, or do price fixing, bid rigging, and those things. And there are a couple different types of antitrust law. There was one in the Sherman Antitrust Act is 1890 that basically says it prohibits price fixing, boycotts, monopolization, or attempts to monopolize. So the $100 million is attempts to monopolize so that the Redfin wouldn't compete against Zillow. And the Federal Trade Commission Act in 1914 was established by FTC, this entity that's suing Zillow right now. The primary federal agency to enforce antitrust laws and prevent unfair and deceptive business practices. Unfair and deceptive business practices. If it's proven guilty, Zillow will have to pay a lot of fine or some kind of penalty or both. And what does that mean to the consumer? So if I try to put it as simple as possible, let's say you want to advertise your apartment to get the tenants. In the past, you could go to apartment.com, redfin.com, realtor.com, Craigslist, Facebook, you can list, right? But we all know most people, a lot of people go to Zillow. Now, if Zillow pays off Redfin, so Redfin doesn't list that, then Zillow will get the Redfin's market share, right? Boom. If Zillow paid off, let's say Craigslist, take that traffic. Once that Zillow is becoming the source, the only source, then what's going to happen? Consumers will have to pay whatever Zillow charges. It kind of reminds me of Uber, actually. When Uber first came out, they were charging like $10 to go anywhere. They were losing money probably back then. And then that resulted in the cab industry just completely pretty much like dying out. And then now Uber raised the fee. Yes, there is a competitor, I think it's called Lyft. They have that, but it's like one monopoly. I guess if there's two, you can't call it monopoly. Binopoly? I don't know. But basically what I'm trying to say is Uber sort of did that. So if Zillow was doing that to really dominate the apartment listing, the portal search site, that's what could happen. That's what they're trying to prevent right now. And this is after the other lawsuits, like the Compass filing with the Zillow ban, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but basically the compass that they want to offer private network listing opportunities to their sellers, to give them more options. That they kind of started their own thing, and basically Zillow banned those listings to show. And so there's some listings that the Compass Realty did the private networking listing. They're not showing on Zillow right now. So in a way, the Zillow don't have those listings, which means the consumers don't get to see those listings on Zillow. To see that, you need to talk to or go to Compass website or talk to Compass agent. And so in a way, that is promoting competition. But when it comes to the consumer convenience, I'm not sure which one is better. The other one, the CoStar. CoStar is a commercial portal, kind of like the Zillow, for the commercial properties. I don't know much about it, but my guess is that they basically copied and used the CoStar information and pictures and used it on Zillow. Which in residential, we have this something called IDX, that once the MLS listing photos are published, companies like Zillow can copy and paste it. And Redfin does the same thing. My website does the same thing. And I think they were confused. Zillow was confused that you could do that on commercial too, which we didn't have any certain rules or agreement between the commercial listings and Zillow. But apparently, Zillow did something like it. And then the other one, class action lawsuit filed against Zillow over flex referral program and hidden agent fees. So this is all sort of alleged, so it needs to be proven. But apparently, so one thing that I do know is that when you go to Zillow and click that button, the contact the agent or show this home or list my home, whatever that is, when you click it, the agent who gets the deal, once they close, they give about 30 to 40% of the commission back to Zillow. Now, the other part, so right there, the consumers may not know that's what agent is doing, especially in the era that the buyers have to negotiate their buyer's agent fee to the buyer's agent, and the buyers have right to know what the fee is being used. So in this case, if they were transparent, they should have said on that button, Zillow will get paid 40% if you choose to use this agent. But there's nothing like it. It doesn't even explain like that. So consumers wouldn't know that they're actually paying Zillow 40% of their fee. The other thing, my understanding is that with this flex referral program, apparently Zillow, allegedly, Zillow asked or forced those flex program agents to refer to Zillow home loans. So there's kind of tricky situations. For example, if I'm recommending just one lender because I'm getting kickbacks, I would get in trouble. So when I refer out to lenders, I always refer out who I think that are good, 2 to 3 at least, so that the consumers can compare and choose. Do I get kickback? No, I don't, because if I get kickbacks and get caught, I will lose my license. So in this case, Zillow apparently is getting caught based on some of these agents who don't want to say who they are because they don't want to get penalized because they're in that program. Apparently, there's enough of evidence that Zillow has forced them to refer those clients to their Zillow home loans, and which is against the licensing laws in our state at least. So that's that. And now they just got the FTC about the antitrust law paying off $100 million. By the way, to me, both Zillow and Redfin isn't innocent here because they basically did an act to promote against antitrust law, meaning against competitive market, against open competitive market that the consumers have more choices. I'm not saying that that is true or not. It needs to be proven at the court. But they're dealing with the 4 different lawsuits. It's kind of interesting because to me, Zillow was the big player for the last 10, 15 years. When I first started, it was like, it was kind of growing in 2008-ish. But now about mid 2015, it's pretty much dominated. And I knew some agents in my old office, they were paying anywhere between like $2,000 a month to one agent, like I heard like $18,000 a month. Back then, buying a zip code, meaning if you bought zip code 97229, you have to pay like $4,000 every month. So most of those leads will go to like handful of realtors, but you have to call right away to get the lead and get to talk to that lead. And I never liked that model. I never wanted to get hooked on a referral program or like lead capture programs like this, because I'll be then dependent on that model, right? So I always wanted to do organic, SEO, like YouTube videos, so I can be exposed to more people without paying a dime to companies like Zillow, because I never liked their business model. I never wanted to support them. So in that case, I may have lost a lot of deals who would have worked with me, went to Zillow. In fact, that did happen one time. I had a listing. I had my face, and then they put my name and they put somebody else's phone number. I talk about that in other videos, but they did that about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I actually send a complaint, email complaint to Zillow. You shouldn't do this. And so I know one incident that they did shady business right there. And so now, I don't know how many bad things they have done so far out of these 4 lawsuits. These are major lawsuits. I'm not talking about small stuff. We'll see how innocent they are, but it's been a big problem. And yeah, it would be interesting to see. But ultimately, what's going to be the best for the consumers will win at the end. Hopefully, that will be the justice. That will be the reason why we have this antitrust law. So I'd love to hear your thoughts or comments on this one. You can let me know if you have any questions about this, but this is definitely big shaking things. And there's a lot of money grabbing and market share grabbing happening too between the big players too. So we'll see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.